Hunting for Answers is a production of the Black Effect Podcast Network and iHeartRadio. Welcome to Hunting for Answers, a true crime podcast. I'm your host, Hunter, and today we're highlighting a case that began on the morning of January 4th, 2017. A woman in Norfolk, Virginia, left and got into a car with someone she knew. Her mother watched her go. It was supposed to be a quick trip to pay a water bill, but hours passed. Then calls started going straight to voicemail. Her Facebook, which family said was normally active, went quiet. And soon, no one could say where she'd gone or what happened after she left. As investigators worked to reconstruct the day, they encountered timelines that didn't line up. Digital evidence that raised questions, findings from a vehicle search that investigators continued to examine. More than 9 years later, she has still not been found. No one has been charged in connection with her disappearance, and what happened that morning remains unresolved. This is the story of Reshaunda Gerald. Reshaunda Gerald, who also went by nicknames Shasha and Sasha, was born July 10, 1984. She was 32 years old at the time of her disappearance. She was living in Norfolk, Virginia, where family members say she was a devoted mother to her 3 children. Public missing person records list her as about 5 feet 2 inches tall, with brown eyes and black hair, which she had dyed blue at the time. Her ears are pierced, and she had several distinctive tattoos, including one on her neck that read Rife. Family members say it was unusual for her to go long without being in touch. She stayed in contact with family and was active on social media, which is why, when she suddenly stopped responding in January of 2017, concern grew quickly. The last confirmed sighting of Reshaunda Gerald came from her own mother. On the morning of January 4th, 2017, around 8 o'clock a.m., her mother watched as Reshaunda got into a car with a man she knew. Investigators later said the two had previously been in a relationship. Reshaunda was expected to make a quick trip to pay a water bill. According to investigators, that moment, when her mother watched her get into that car, was the last time her family saw her. When police began looking into her disappearance, Mark Morgan provided investigators with his account of what happened that day. According to investigators, he said he had driven with Reshaunda to pay a bill, and at some point, they stopped at a car wash in Portsmouth. He later told police he dropped her off near Lincoln Street and Onley Road in Norfolk, and said that was the last time he saw her. But as detectives continued reviewing the timeline, they began examining digital evidence that could help determine where Reshaunda had been that day. Cell phone records would raise new questions. According to reports, Reshaunda's phone appeared to be near a residence in Chesapeake, associated with Morgan for much of the day after she was last seen. According to reports, the device began pinging in the area around 10:49 a.m. and continued there for hours. That location was different from where Morgan had said he dropped her off. Reports also indicated the phone was later near a hotel where Morgan was staying with his wife that evening. The digital timeline did not provide a clear answer about what happened to Reshaunda, but it did introduce new questions for investigators trying to reconstruct the day. As the investigation continued, police obtained a search warrant for the vehicle Morgan had been driving. What investigators found inside the car would add another layer of questions to the case. In the trunk, they discovered a hatchet wrapped in plastic. Reports indicated the hatchet had been purchased the day after Reshaunda disappeared. Investigators used a chemical test called Blue Star, which can detect possible traces of blood. The test produced a reaction consistent with possible blood on the hatchet and in the trunk area. Authorities have not publicly released any DNA results from that testing. Detectives also looked more closely at the relationship between Reshaunda and Morgan. Reports indicate the two had previously been engaged. According to reporting at the time, Morgan was married. Phone records show the two had been in contact frequently in the weeks leading up to January 4th. Investigators later stated that 45 calls were made between them between December 20th and January 3rd, the day before Reshaunda was last seen. As days turned into weeks, Reshaunda's family continued searching for answers. Family members said this was out of character for her. She had left behind her children, her phone was no longer responding, and there were no verified sightings of her anywhere. For her family, the questions about what happened that morning only grew. Over time, investigators have indicated that they believe foul play may be involved in Reshaunda Gerald's disappearance. However, authorities have not publicly named a suspect, and no one has been charged in connection with her case. More than 9 years later, Reshaunda Gerald has still not been found. And what happened after she left home on January 4th, 2017, remains unknown. Anyone with information about the disappearance of Reshaunda Gerald is asked to contact the Norfolk Police Department or submit a tip through Crime Stoppers. Their information can be found in the show notes below. Our thoughts are with Reshaunda Gerald's family and loved ones. As we close out this episode, remember that sharing her story helps keep attention on the questions that still need answers. For updates on this case and others, follow Hunting for Answers. You can also connect with us through our Facebook group and find us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Reach out if there's a story you believe deserves attention. Thank you for joining us for another episode. Until next time. Hunting for Answers is a production of the Black Effect Podcast Network. For more podcasts from the Black Effect Podcast Network, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.